All right, everything appears to be in order. Apologies for the late start. Had to take care of some things and get properly dressed for today's reading. So let's go ahead and get the formalities out of the way, shall we? Yo, peoples! Kyushu92 here, and welcome back to yet another Jujutsu Kaisen read-through. Today we are going to be going through Volume 10 of the series, as you can see here. I'm fully decked out with the Jujutsu gear, so this will be the shirt that I wear whenever I'm reading Jujutsu, so that way I don't have to worry about shifting shirts too often whenever I'm prepared to read through these chapters. So last we left off, we got back to the present. What's going on, Ogata-san? Glad you finally caught up to... Yay, yeah, nice. Nice that you finally caught up to everybody. Last we left off, we saw basically how Gato got the mindset of creating a world where only Jujutsu sorcerers existed, and then, you know, eradicating humanity or whatever, calling how he got his start, which is thanks to a woman named Yuki, who's also a special grade sorcerer, who introduced herself to Aoi Todo and caused them to ask those types of questions of, like, what kind of girl do you like? She's the one who instigated Gato's mindset into becoming the villain of the story. So we come back to the present, and it turns out that Mechamaru was the mole inside of Jujutsu High, feeding information to the curse users. Then when Yuji and the rest of the crew get to where Mechamaru is supposed to be, he's gone. And he's in a completely separate place where he's met face-to-face with Gato and Mahito. And Mahito uses his cursed human transfiguration technique to bring Mechamaru's body back to full, to heal his body completely. But then it also ends the volume by showing Mechamaru preparing to fight Mahito. I guess. I don't know, to prove himself? I don't know, but we're about to find out. Let me go ahead and make sure this mic isn't in the way, so that way I can read thoroughly. Volume 10! Evening Festival. And we have chapters 80 through 88, so 8 chapters to go through today. 9 chapters, because you count the 0 one. Chapter 80, Evening Festival. As chapter 80, Evening Festival, as it shows Gato standing there saying, "Need a hand?" And Mahito says, "No, he's my toy." And then Mechamaru, who's standing there, has summoned many robotic bodies around him. Snow, what's going on? I just got started on Volume 10 of Jujutsu, where Mechamaru is apparently about to fight Mahito. But after Mahito says, "No, he's my toy," then Mechamaru summons multiple robots around him to go rushing towards Mahito. And Mahito, using his own transfiguration ability, enlarges his arm and swipes aside multiple robots. But after the dust settles, Mechamaru is not standing there. "He ran away. I guess he doesn't have any reason to kill us. Boring. I don't feel much like hunting. I just wanna fight." And as he says that, the ground underneath them completely implodes. The entire area they're in completely implodes, and apparently they're underwater, but it explodes, and Mahito jumps through to the surface and lands saying, "Now that's more like it." And then it shows a ginormous Mechamaru mech just standing in front of Mahito. So not only did Mechamaru have like regular robot-sized bodies of himself, but he also has a giant Pacific Rim mech of his own. He has his own Megazord. Ultimate Mechamaru mode. Absolute. Armored Puppet Ultimate Mechamaru Trial Production number 0. To think you were tinkering away on something like this. Being a shut-in means you have a lot of time on your hands, huh? And then Mahito's thinking, "You're inside, aren't you? You don't want me touching you after all. The cockpit. The concentration of spirit is in the head." And then it zooms in to where Mechamaru's sitting in there. Amplification functions normal. Sensory feedback blocked. Tch. There's a curtain. It has to be Gato. And it's not just to trap me. The curtain's interfering with all signals. I guess this won't go as smoothly as it would have with Satoru Gojo. Yup, my victory depends on Satoru Gojo. No matter what, I need to get in contact with Satoru Gojo to tell him about the Shibuya plans and get rescued. But even if I focus on Gato and his curtain, Mahito still remains a huge threat. I'll have to exercise Mahito first. Then it shows Gato in the distance as he's just smiling, going, "Go ahead, don't mind me." The outlook isn't good, but there's still a chance. I've seen everything. All those years tied down accumulating all this cursed energy. And it shows activity limit, 17 years, 5 months, and 6 days. Vital, clear, connect, error. I won't hold back. And then apparently it shows Miwa. And then it shows the timer going down to 16 years, so like a 1 year is gone. 1 year charge. Mechamaru, burn it up! Ultra cannon! And then the entire area where Mahito was standing just gets blown completely. And the thing is, where Mechamaru and Mahito are fighting on is a reinforced dam. And he just breaks through it completely, causing the dam to break. Where exactly are y'all to be breaking this stuff? Are there people at the bottom of this? But it shows Mahito jumping away from it, whose side of his face got kind of singed, and he turned his feet into rabbit feet so he could jump away quickly. Is he planning to run my cursed energy out by burning me? I'll drag you out of there. Mechamaru's attacks won't be enough to hurt Mahito. Mahito knows that too now. And then it shows Ultimate Mechamaru punching where Mahito is, and Mahito is just casually dodging around him. And then Mahito shapeshifts his body into that of a fish and goes into the water. 2 year charge. Miracle cannon! And he blows up the water, causing Mahito to launch upwards into the air, but also enlarged his own arm to attach to Mechamaru. Mahito won't back down. The curse is paying no attention to my attacks. So now it's finally time for this. And Mechamaru grabs onto some sort of lever or nozzle. And that's the end of chapter 80. Onwards to chapter 81, Evening Festival Part 2. Oh, and specifically here on this one page, it shows that Mahito actually turned into a tuna. Just in case you were wondering what he turned into. Also, I know I should have said this at the beginning. If you want to see what I'm reading, go to the official Shonen Jump Viz site or whichever site that you prefer. But you know what I always say, support their official release. Mahito, still holding on to Mechamaru and enlarged his fist, proceeds to punch Mechamaru in the face. With Mahito smiling. And then dude on the inside goes, "So powerful. If I'm not careful, my armor will break apart. Jujutsu technique charge. I've got 4 chances left. Let's finish this." And it shows the finger of Mechamaru opening up to like a nozzle. Robert, what's going on? Hope you enjoy yourself while you're here. And it shows the targeting system inside Mechamaru. Ultimate Mechamaru. I might as well just say Ultimate Mechamaru. It's targeting Mahito and it locks on. Fire! Mechamaru! And then something hits Mahito. And then there's a little bit of silence and then Mahito says, "Useless. After all this time, haven't you learned anything?" Then all of a sudden, Mahito's arm just explodes from this projectile that burrowed its way into him. Because Mahito turned his arms into wings and his feet into talons, to be airborne. But it explodes on his arm and he goes, "Huh?" Then an arm comes close to Mahito and slaps him away into the nearby trees. And then it shows Mahito. What's going on? A part of my soul was destroyed. And it shows that his arm is not regenerating, as it normally would. Then it shows something above Mahito, and it's Mechamaru, as it just unleashes a barrage of punches into the adjacent forest next to him. Kind of like Majugori in One Punch Man. You know, the super tall, colossal, titan-sized dude, and he was just unloading punches on Saitama. Mechamaru, Ultimate Mechamaru, is doing the same thing. But Mahito escapes from the ginormous devastation left behind by Maru, as he goes, "Darn it, a bird again? How dull." Then he's looking, and it shows that Mahito actually has regenerated again. "He regenerated the arm I blew away. No, he manipulated the shape of his soul to make it look like it regenerated. The fact that he's trying to conceal his wounds is a good sign. Good. Just keep it up." And Geto goes, "It's working. He has skills. It's likely only temporary, but his release of cursed energy is on par with his special grades. His strategies against Mahito are decent too. At this rate, he might just..." And then it cuts back to Maru as he goes, "5-year charge! Pigeon Viola!" And literal balls of light emanate from Ultimate Mechamaru, and they all start to make a beeline for Mahito in the air. And it's basically just straight up lasers as Mahito's doing his best to try and avoid it. And then Mahito turns back into like a human state, turns his arms regular, and he goes, "First, I need to figure out which one of his attacks is effective against my soul." And as he's thinking this, a big fist comes up right next to Mahito and continues to destroy the dam. You gotta think about what this is gonna do to the other area. You're destroying this whole dam that's right here in the forest. What about the resounding area? What if there's people living at the bottom of it and you're just casually destroying it? Unless this is intentionally far away from a lot of people. Because he keeps destroying this entire bridge. Mahito dodges away, but not far enough to keep his face from getting embedded in the fist of Ultimate Mecha and punched back into the forest again. With Maru on the inside going, "I can do this." Actually, hold on, real quick. Kokichi, that's his name. Kokichi on the inside goes, "I can do this. Jujutsu technique charge. I can win." And it shows Mechamaru turning his middle finger into like that same projectile in the tip of his finger as he's preparing to, I guess, try and stab into Mahito. "I'm going to meet up with everyone." And he's thinking about his Kyoto School's fellow students and teacher, Otohime, Utahime, Miwa, Momo, Toto, all the rest of them. And then Mahito looks on with blank eyes and just goes, "Domain expansion. Oh no. Self-embodiment of perfection." And oh boy. Oh, he just got, Kokichi just got stuck inside of Mahito's domain expansion now. And now we're done. And then Kokichi's heart starts beating as he's thinking, "I'm going to meet up with everyone." And that's the end of chapter 81. Onwards to chapter 82, Evening Festival Part 3. And we're back here in the domain expansion as it shows Mahito sitting on the opposite end of it. And now we're done. Idle transfiguration. As he aims for the head of Ultimate Mechamaru, and Mechamaru starts to fall to the ground. "Even if I don't touch you directly, once you're in my domain, it doesn't matter. You must have known that. There are only 10 more days until Halloween. Did you think I conserve my cursed energy and not use my domain? 10 more days is more than enough to get back to full strength. Don't put so many of your hopes and dreams into your strategy. It's so awkward that I don't know how to react. But it shows Mahito getting stabbed by that same middle finger. Wow, he really just gave Mahito the finger here. By that same middle finger that Kokichi was preparing to stab him with earlier. I wonder if they're going to censor that in the anime. And it shows Mahito he's been impaled by the deadly middle finger. He just got stabbed. I'm not going to do the motion because I don't do that. But you understand, he just got the middle finger straight through the chest as he goes, huh? And it shows Kokichi inside of Ultimate Mechamaru going, the curse technique is sealed in these tubes. This is the only way I could make it work. There are 4 tubes. The first failed. The second was to protect the cockpit from his domain. And the third, during the Heian era, at the height of Jujutsu sorcery, Sadatsuna Aishiya created a certain technique. The technique was born to protect his disciples from evil curses and curse users. The technique has been passed down through his family. Teaching it to outsiders is strictly prohibited. The technique is used to protect oneself from domain expansion. It is known as the domain for the weak. New shadow style. Simple domain. I've seen it all. As he thinks back to Miwa, and then it shows Mahito and his body starts, as his body starts contorting and starts inflating in itself right now. Like his body starts expanding on this simple domain and it starts hurting Mahito, it would appear, because it shows shocks going throughout his body, his vein is bulging, he's spitting out blood, not water, out of his mouth. Why did I channel Inner 4 Kids? He's spitting out water instead of spitting out blood. And his eyes are gouging out as well. It shows the effect of the simple domain as it's repelling the domain expansion. And it shows Kokichi screaming out loud as he's in the cockpit. And then it shows Geto on the outside going, simple domain. A domain neutralizes all curse techniques. Once trapped inside a domain, even the great Gojo cannot avoid being hit. The word simple is misleading. If another domain is activated inside a domain, even the caster of the first domain, Mahito, will be vulnerable. And then it shows Kokichi going, I wanted to make sure I was unmuted. I always gotta double check. I won't let you be a spectator anymore, Geto. That was a fortunate miscalculation. There's one tube that contains simple domain. I could still fight Geto with 9 years worth of cursed energy. I can win. I'm going to meet up with everyone! Fire! Mechamaru! Then all of a sudden, the entire cockpit of Ultimate Mechamaru just completely gets destroyed all around Kokichi. And then it shows Mahito with this crazy smile on his face launching towards Kokichi. Apparently, he's resisted the simple domain and has burst in the cockpit of Ultimate Mechamaru. And he's transfigured his body to a large degree to the point where it looks like a human centipede type deal where he has multiple arms, but he has an elongated body. He's used his soul transfiguration on himself to survive. And now he's in front of Kokichi. Did I miss my chance? But I still have one tube of domain left. I'll get him with a direct hit! And it shows Mahito launching towards Kokichi as Kokichi prepares to stab him. And then it cuts to someone saying, hey, Mechamaru? I don't know who this is. Who is this speaking? Oh, it's Miwa.
Hey, Mechamaru? You think I can come visit you sometime? Ever since we played baseball at the Goodwill event, I feel like we've all become closer.
Oh, this is happening while Mechamaru's regular body that we usually see him with is stuck at the place where Miwa was originally talking to him.
Ever since we played baseball at the Goodwill event, I feel like we've all become closer. Maybe it's the nature of being a jujutsu sorcerer, but even if we're friendly with each other, there's always this distance between us. I guess if we got too close, it would be too much to bear when we lose someone. But you know what? I really like how we are now. I mean, since you couldn't participate in the baseball game, You were a pitching machine, for goodness sake. I'd like it if we could get to know each other better. So, I'll promise I'll come and see you someday, okay?
And as she's saying this, we see Mechamaru laying over with either cursed energy dripping from it or blood dripping from it. And then it shows Mahito and Geto leaving. Wow, they just took down. Wow, we just got Kokichi being healed. And he died the moment after he got healed.
He just got his body back!
But it shows Mahito saying, it shows Geto saying, cutting a little close, don't you think? And Mahito's going,
I purposely timed my explosion for when he activated his technique. And once I deactivated my domain, he thought I was dead. It went according to plan. Nothing close about it.
wow.
So that was simple domain, huh? It's nice that we got to see something good before the main event.
Yeah. We also finished adjusting the terms of the commission curtain. There will be no problem endowing others with cursed energy and empowered words now. October 31st, 2018. Shibuya. Now, here's the thing. I was not told about everything that happened in Shibuya, but when I went to Barnes & Noble to get a big chunk of my volumes and I told people that I was going to be reading through Jujutsu, they told me, just prepare. They just simply said, just prepare me. They told me to prepare myself for the Shibuya event or the Shibuya incident. Or when I get to Shibuya, I need to prepare myself. And now we're beginning. That was the last chapter we did was chapter 82. Chapter 83 is simply titled The Shibuya Incident, Part 1. So we got a little bit of info here before we move on to the Shibuya Incident, where it says, I don't really understand what you're saying. Cursed techniques. This doesn't look like him at all. Innate cursed technique. A cursed technique that someone is born with. They're practically impossible for others to copy. When cursed technique is written in the manga, it's usually in reference to an innate cursed technique. Barrier techniques. If a person possesses a certain amount of cursed energy, barriers are actually something they can learn with enough training, although being good or bad at it differs greatly from person to person. For this technique, a person must start from scratch, add empowered words, and then activate it with cursed energy. Barrier techniques are often associated with curtains, but domain expansion utilizes barrier techniques as well. Barriers such as curtains are effective against civilians, but not jujutsu sorcerers. The one cast at the Goodwill event was quite unique for this reason. And then lastly, new shadow style and so on. Similar to barrier techniques, they're constructed within the caster and then activated. Chapter 83, The Shibuya Incident Part 1. Record of the incident on October 31st, 2018 at 7 p.m. A curtain with a 400-meter radius was cast with the Tokyo branch of the Toyoko branch, not Tokyo, the Toyoko branch of the Tokyo branch of the Tokyo department store at its center. And it's EGG going, it's a curtain that traps only civilians. Civilians can only enter. As for windows, that depends on the person. Jujutsu sorcerers and assistant managers can come and go as they please. Any reception? Blocked. And I think he's standing there with Fushiguro because I see spiky hair and it looks to be Nanami up there as well. All communication will be done outside this curtain or through us managers. I think that's still Ishiji saying, all communication will have to be done outside the curtain or through us managers. 8:14 p.m., Tokyo Metro Shibuya Station, near exit 13 outside of the curtain. Oh boy. Ah! It is Nanami here. Sounds like quite the plan. Fushiguro! Kento Nanami, grade 1 sorcerer. Takuma Ino, grade 2 sorcerer, currently being assessed for promotion. And Megumi Fushiguro, grade 2 sorcerer, currently being assessed for promotion. Right, I forgot. Aoi Todo and Mei put forth the idea of getting Yuji, Nobara, and Megumi promoted as sorcerers. I forgot. And this is Fushiguro going with Nanami to get his promotion done. But we got Ino going, curtains, curtains. The conditions that can be used to increase or decrease the barrier's effectiveness are usually only things related to cursed energy. So basically humans, cursed spirits, and cursed objects. Therefore, reception being blocked by a secondary effect of the curtain is a secondary effect of the curtain. But the curtain can't actually block or allow reception. Yes, I know. And then it shows Nanami going, Ino, he's an excellent student. Stop trying to show off just because you're older.
What do you mean by that, Nanami?
And where is Gojo? And then it shows someone saying,
No one's here! At a busy intersection in front of the station on Halloween night?
Meanwhile, Shibuya Mark City, Restaurant Avenue entrance outside the curtain.
Looks like something bad went down. Everyone is spread out near the curtain's perimeter and they're all begging for the same thing. Bring Satoru Gojo.
Oh. So we're cutting to the Zenin team. Now Bito Zenin, Supreme Grade 1 Sorcerer. Maki Zenin, Grade 4 Sorcerer, currently being assessed for promotion. Nobara Kujisaki, Grade 3 Sorcerer, currently being assessed for promotion.
There's no way a non-sorcerer would know him. They were told to say it. We can't break the curtain.
And then it cuts to your girl Nina, or Nana, I forgot, Anita? I think her name is Nita? I forget her name. I'm sorry, I forget her name. But she says,
It's tough. After all, the curtain isn't restricting sorcerers from either side. It's not something we can destroy with brute force. It'll be quicker to locate and take out the curse user who summoned the curtain.
Then Maki says,
So we're here to help with that? Nope, you're all on standby here, says Nita. An advanced barrier technique while calling for Satoru Gojo.
And now we cut to Panda walking with someone.
An advanced barrier technique while calling for Satoru Gojo.
Well, this is this dude saying it.
An advanced barrier technique while calling for Satoru Gojo. They have to be the same culprits as the Goodwill event incident. The higher-ups are instructing Satoru Gojo to work alone in order to suppress what's happening in Shibuya and to minimize damages.
Atsuya Kusakabe, Grade 1 Sorcerer, Tokyo Branch 2nd Year Teacher. Wow, we're meeting quite a few people, aren't we?
Us, Nanami, the Zenin Geezer, and Meme. We all just supposed to hang out around the perimeter and the curtain and take care of whatever gets past Gojo. Besides, we can communicate inside the curtain.
Kusakabe Team, Atsuya Kusakabe, Grade 1 Sorcerer, and Panda, Semi-Grade 2 Sorcerer, Promotion Assessment on hold.
Minimize damage? You mean sorcerers, right? What about civilians?
Calm down. Unlike last year's Christmas event, we're already too late. To be honest, I think it's for the best. Also, I actually went and peeked inside the curtain earlier. It was quite peaceful. Sure, people were in a panic, but I didn't see any curses or curse users running around killing people. Right now, they're just trapped inside. That said, I'm definitely not going back in there.
Why?
I think it was the Shibuya Hikarie building. I'm pretty sure there were a bunch of special grade curses in the basement.
Meanwhile, Bunkamura Way, Dongenzaka Nichiome East, inside the curtain. Hurry up and bring Satoru Gojo here! And it has all these civilians saying, What's going on? Why can't we get out?
Hurry up and bring Satoru Gojo here! Who the heck is Gojo?
Like I know, but they said if he doesn't show up, we can't get out! Who said that? I don't know, everyone! And then it has some girls saying,
OMG, guys who can't keep their cool are not so okay. Well,
and another girl says,
well, the fact that we can't get through is like something out of a horror movie. But it's not a big deal, right? Someone will come and rescue us soon. Oh, but there's no signal.
You guys didn't see it? They were sucked in. All those people at the intersection, right into the station like a bathtub draining water. Or else we would have gone home by train too. Isn't that obvious, you uneducated moron? What? Then use your education to get through that thing. And Gojo just shows up. Gojo's there. Sorry. And he just walks past the guy and bumps into him. 8:31 p.m., Satoru Gojo arrives. Now we cut to 8:38, Shibuya Hikarie, Shinkyu's basement, first floor, basement 1. And there's tons of people in the basement, just stuck there. There's tons of people just down here in Halloween costumes. And Gojo's there looking at everything going, yeesh, what a mess. So there's another curtain like the one above ground that's trapping non-sorcerers centered somewhere below here. And it just shows Gojo nonchalantly stepping on everyone's heads and walking over them. Sorry, coming through. What? Hup, hup, and he's just jumping on different places, and it shows him floating over the space that shows the train at the bottom. Gojo is so cool. Oh my goodness, Gojo's so cool. And he just jumps over and just hovers above the ground, looking at where everything is. I think I get what they're after. Bring it on. And then it cuts to Aoyama Cemetery, 8:39 p.m. And it cuts to Yuji. Gojo-sensei is going in alone, and Yuji is apparently there with Mei. I get the reasoning, but there has to be something we can do. We can go as backup. And Mei says,
Yeah, that's why we're heading to Shibuya.
oh, are we? And then we have Ui, Mei's younger brother.
Sheesh, making you go as backup. Who does Satoru Gojo think he is? You can't think of him as a normal guy. You're not a normal lady either. Oh, Ui, you're so cute. You don't really think that. What you love isn't family. You're more interested in using family for employment. You're quite the smart one. I love that about you.
Ah. Mei team. Mei, grade 1 sorcerer. Ui, and then Yuji Itadori, grade 1 promotion assessment on hold. And Yuji is just watching all this sibling bickering going back and forth. This is Mei. I see. And then it shows her saying,
Itadori, we're changing course. Another curtain like the one in Shibuya just appeared in Meiji Jingumai Station. We're heading there. We're gonna run, so keep up, okay?
Sure! And then we got Jogo. Remember, Jogo is the volcano-headed curse that fought Gojo the first time.
There you are.
And it shows Gojo floating down to the floor.
Look at you, all ready to go.
Fukutoshin Line, platform, basement, 5th floor. 8:40 p.m. Tokyo Metro, Shibuya Station. And it shows Gojo face-to-face with Hanami, Jogo, and the other guy. I forget, he's the other brother that was with Kechizo and Esu. I forgot his name. But Gojo says, no excuses this time if you lose again, okay?
Don't you worry about us,
says Jogo.
Just be sure to have your first ever excuse ready.
And that's the end of chapter 83. We move on to Don't Really Understand What You're Saying, Curse Techniques Part 2, and then we'll move on to chapter 84. Divergent Fist, Black Flash, and so on. These are not considered cursed techniques since they are actually using cursed energy to reinforce and strengthen the body. It's up to the individual to call them jujutsu or not. This is what Fushiguro was talking about in Volume 1 when he said something along the lines of, it's not jujutsu, you're just hurling cursed energy. But this doesn't mean that Fushiguro doesn't accept Itadori as a jujutsu sorcerer, so it's all a little wishy-washy. Reverse Cursed Technique. This move multiplies cursed energy with cursed energy. So it's actually just multiplication, not a cursed technique. It's got cursed technique in its name, but it still isn't a cursed technique. What the heck is wrong with the person who thought of this? In conclusion, it's so confusing. Onwards to chapter 84, the Shibuya Incident Part 2. And Hanami uses their ability to cover the opening that Gojo floated down in to cover all exits in order to keep Gojo down there. And it shows him covering the circular exit above the train line, and it shows branches and wood covering the door exit so that he can't get out. Don't bother, I'm not going anywhere. If I run away, you're just gonna kill everyone here, right? Well, I mean, that's why I'm here. And then it shows someone saying, "What are those two talking about?" And then another person says, "Don't you mean 4?" So this is a good example of letting people know how much cursed energy that they have, or if they're able to perceive spirits, because the one dude that says, "What are those two talking about?" he was only able to see Gojo and the other cursed spirit human that was there. But the other guy that says, "Don't you mean 4?" is able to see all 4 of them. But Jogo goes,
If you run away, we're going to do that. If you run away, we're going to do that. Even if you don't.
And as he says this, the gate that was keeping people stuffed in front of the train tracks causes people to fall out onto the tracks. Yeah. They pretty much open up all of the stops for the subway. They pretty much open up all the stops for the subway, before you get on the train itself. And people just start falling out onto the tracks from both sides. Not just one side, but from both sides of the tracks. And Gojo goes, "Get out of the way or you'll die." And he's thinking to himself, they blocked the exits to create a blind spot. I can't tell if there are people on the other side. I shouldn't break it. And then it shows Jogo it shows Jogo, Hanami, and the other guy. What is his name? Please tell me that his name was in here before. No, it's not in here. Dang it. His name is Oat something. I forgot this guy's name, but they all start butchering people. Like Jogo starts heating up his fist and running it through people, cutting off limbs. Hanami is completely destroying people. And then the other guy that was part of the 3 brothers says, "Blood manipulation," and slices off of the heads of people in the subway. It's like I'm experiencing Omni-Man hold up Mark in front of that subway train all over again. Blood manipulation. Slicing exorcism. And as he says this, it shows the heads of people, like literally the tops of people's heads getting sliced off completely. How are they going to animate this? And it shows multiple people getting just straight up bifurcated, straight up decapitated, straight up dilapidated, just messed up. And as Gojo is protecting himself in front, Jogo and Hanami try to rush him. And it kind of stops near them, but it shows more people running away. And then it shows Jogo smiling. As Jogo says, "Is Choso his name?" Oh, thank you, Ogata-san. His name is Choso. Choso, Hanami, and Jogo just start butchering civilians. I forgot his name. Thank you, Ogata-san. Thank you, because it doesn't have his name in the front like it normally does when it introduces characters, but I had completely forgotten. I told you, all these names are just going to mess me up. I encountered this same problem when I was reading through Solo Leveling originally, when I forgot all the names. But as Hanami and Jogo are trying to punch Gojo and he's keeping them at bay, Jogo goes, "Domain amplification." And they both get empowered. Both Hanami and Jogo get empowered, and they start to get closer and closer to touching Gojo. And as they punch in the spot where he is, Gojo is in a completely different spot saying, "So that's the plan, huh? I should have figured considering you're working with a curse user. Domain amplification looks like it's the same as the nude Shadow's simple domain. If you think of barrier techniques as boxes or prisons that trap their targets, then domain amplification would be as if you're being surrounded by water. Maybe it's similar to the feeling when you initially push back against a domain. The chances of an attack missing will increase, but it will always neutralize the technique. With this method, I am now vulnerable to their attacks. And then it cuts to Jogo talking to Gato, I guess previously. Nico, what is going on? We have entered into the Shibuya event of Jujutsu.
Do you know when Satoru Gojo is most in his element?
Oh wait, this is Gato saying when he's talking to Jogo. Do you know when Satoru Gojo is most in his element?
Enough with the chit-chat, just tell me.
It's when he's alone. It doesn't matter who the sorcerer is. Anyone who fights alongside him just gets in the way. So let's use the even more inferior non-sorcerers to restrict his movements. Curse Technique Reversal outputs at least twice as much energy as Curse Technique Labs. It's almost impossible for there to be no collateral damage to non-sorcerers. It'll also be hard for him to use his blue technique at a level that is effective against you. Using blue for its high speed is difficult too. For non-sorcerers, it would be like dumping energy on them. They would die instantly if it touched them. Considering all this, Satoru Gojo will have to take a defensive stance.
What do we do about his unlimited void?
Satoru Gojo's unlimited void domain probably doesn't affect him or anyone he's touching. Let's suppose he's skilled enough to allow only you guys inside. There'll be a significant number of non-jujutsu sorcerers who will be crushed between unlimited void and the curtain. I'm 99% sure Satoru Gojo won't use domain expansion. That said, you guys can't use domain expansion either. If you trap a lot of non-sorcerers inside your domain, you'll give him no choice but to cast one as well. In a domain battle, you know who would win, right? Just make sure he focuses on you. Curse countermeasures and how to save the curse countermeasures and how to save the non-sorcerers. I need at least 20 minutes. After that, you can leave the rest to me in Prison Realm. And then it cuts back to the present. Hope you will like it. I'm fine, thanks. Oh yes, it's always good to hear and make sure that you guys are doing okay.
I thought we said no running away.
As it shows Gojo on one spot. And
you need some more convincing?
As it shows Jogo taking the head off of a person and just ripping it off completely. As a person is still able to say ha before he dies. Jogo literally just rips this guy's head off in order to convince Gojo not to run. And then Gojo says, well, I'm surprised.
What? You making excuses?
Nah, Baldy. I'm surprised you thought you could beat me using your sorry excuse for a brain. And as Gojo says this, he takes off his blindfold. And that's when Jogo starts trembling. Hey, Weed. This is our third meeting, right? And you still haven't learned. You're going down first. And then it shows Gojo. It shows Gojo hopping off the platform he was standing. And that's the end of chapter 84. Onwards to chapter 85, the Shibuya Incident, part 3. Oh boy. You're going down first. So come on. What's wrong? And Gojo is just, standing directly in front of them, just goading them in. Weren't you the ones who told me not to run away? And then Gojo just walks up to the both of them. Just nonchalantly just walks up to the both of them. And Hanami and Jogo try to punch him. And Gojo just basically blocks it.
Did I just touch?
And then all of a sudden, Jogo gets grabbed by Gojo. And he holds on to him. He holds on to him as he's dodging a kick from Hanami. Ready? Steady. And then proceeds to break and snap off Jogo's arm completely. He just breaks his arm off. He holds on to it. He says, ready, steady, snap into a Slim Jim. Just ripped it off. Then it shows Hanami trying to punch where Gojo is, and he winds up punching the arm of Jogo. But Gojo manages to kick Hanami in the leg as well, and then it shows Jogo trying to run away while he regenerates his arm. And then Hanami is thinking,
He's going for Gojo. He's going for Jogo. Did he say that earlier to confuse us? Not only that, he deactivated his limited curse technique. He decided to stop concentrating on his curse technique. Since the number of people is starting to thin out, does he plan to just use cursed energy and keep this fight confined to close quarters? If that's the case, there's no point in getting the crowd involved anymore. All I need to do is use my curse technique. And then it shows Hanami summoning a wooden spear, and Jogo notices. And Jogo screams, "Don't deactivate your amplification, Hanami!" And then it shows Gojo smiling, and they specifically have him with this crazy look in his eye, and they put a lot of energy around where his eyes are in this drawing. And it shows Gojo dodging the spear and latching on to Hanami's face like eye branch stalks, and he grabs on and he says, "Someone told me that this is your weak spot," and proceeds to rip out the eye stalks of Hanami. And they were attached to a long piece of wood. Like, you would think it'd just be slight a little bit, but he pulled it out enough to make it seem like it goes through Hanami's entire body. But Gojo pulls on it and rips out the stalks, which are incredibly long. Thought so. You can't use amplification and your innate technique at the same time. And then it cuts to Jogo going,
"The reason I survived earlier was because the amplification was protecting me. He's this strong even though he's just using cursed energy manipulation and physical attacks? Satoru Gojo, is there anything you don't have?"
And then it shows Gojo standing over Hanami, but also it shows the heads of numerous civilians getting sliced up. This is Choso. Choso's still there. Don't forget, Choso's still there. He's just been facing off against Jogo and Hanami all this time. And then it shows Gojo looking at Choso going, "That guy's not a cursed spirit. I bet he's a cursed womb, death baiting. He's annoying, but he doesn't seem to be as proactive as these two. He can't wait." And then it shows Jogo and Hanami trying to punch Gojo, but he doesn't even flinch. And they can't even touch him still. And Jogo looks surprised. And Gojo just says, "You sure about that? If you try to neutralize my technique with your amplification, then I'll counter by strengthening my curse technique. This useless tree over here might not be up to the challenge right now." And then it shows something happening to Gojo as Jogo goes, "What?" And then it shows Gojo expanding his curse technique, as it shows him starting to slowly crush Hanami into... Yo! He's using his own innate power to forcibly crush Hanami into a wall. And we see the face of Hanami cracking, and you hear crunching and lots of crunching, and then Gojo says, "Satoru Gojo, over here!" But before Jogo can do anything to the other civilians, Gojo basically just crushes Hanami to death. Like, completely. Just squashes Hanami into a wall. All you see is just a boom sound and the spot where Hanami used to be, and just a big old bloody imprint. And then you just see smoke coming off of the cursed spirit, off of Hanami as well, and Jogo can only say, "Hanami." Yo, Hanami is gone! Gojo just killed Hanami! He did say it! He did say Hanami was gonna go first! Gojo's not playing!
He just stood in front of Hanami and just crushed Hanami with his own cursed power. He just let the power expand off of him and crushed Hanami to the point where he just exercised Hanami. Hanami is done. Hanami is gone. And then he just looks over in Jogo's position and just says, next. Then we cut to Tokyo Metro Meiji Jingumai Station near Exit 2 as we cut to Meimei and Yuji. This is the curtain that's surrounding the station and trapping civilians. Inside, there's another curtain in the Fukutoshin line platform that's keeping Jujutsu sorcerers out. Between the two curtains is the cursed spirit or cursed user who cast the curtains. And then Meimei says, between, not the platform. We think that whoever it is taking the risk of leaving the curtain alone. Two assistant managers have already been taken down. Also, in between the curtains, well, we can't be sure. It's fine. Go ahead and say it. In between the curtains, there may be transfigured humans. Oh, and we all know how Yuji feels about transfigured humans. Coming across him the first time, Junpei being turned into a transfigured human, and all the things that revolved around him and Mahito, and Yuji immediately thinks of Mahito. And that's the end of chapter 85. Onwards to chapter 86, the Shibuya Incident Part 4. Yo, I feel like this fight between Gojo and Hanami, Jogo and Choso is gonna be fire when it's animated. But we got crows flying through the Shibuya station. And apparently someone's using these crows to fly through the subway station in order to see everything currently. And apparently this is Meimei's doing, because Yuji's going, what are we doing? We gotta hurry. And then Ui goes, shh, my sister's currently sharing vision with the crows. It takes a lot of concentration, so be quiet. And then Meimei just says, it's fine, actually. You can talk. She says it's okay. My goodness, sister! Then it shows one of the crows getting killed down there. I think I've got it now. Itadori, would you rather kill a bunch of weak transfigured humans or exorcise one strong cursed spirit? And then Yuji doesn't say anything, and then she goes, well, I bet you'd want the latter. The transfigured humans are roaming around and attacking civilians at basement 4 at B4F. I think most of the civilians are at BF5F on the Fukutoshin line platform, though. And then it shows curtain that traps the civilians, basement, first floor, basement, second floor, third floor, fourth floor, and then the fifth floor, where's all the stuff that's happening. Curtain that prohibits Jujutsu sorcerers from entering, and that's beneath the base, and that's where basement of level 5th floor is. And Itadori goes, you're not sure? The crows I use are imbued with cursed energy. They couldn't get to B5F. Basement 5th floor. Basement 5th floor. It appears to be part of the plan to funnel civilians farther down. And my crows were taken out between B1F and B2F. Whoever activated the curtain is there. Maybe they're there to kill any civilians who go up. Or could it have something to do with the curtain's constraints? We can't be sure why B5F was specifically chosen as the point of separation either. And then Yuji just goes, he's there, right? He's down there. And then it shows Mahito going, here they come. And then Meimei says, I'm not sure. The curtains were taken out before I could confirm Patch Face. But the fact that there are transfigured humans means he's probably there. I wasn't sure about splitting up, but at this rate, all the civilians at Basement 4F are going to be killed. We'll head directly for Exit 7 to B4F and rescue the civilians. If you find yourself in trouble, make your way down to B4F. I'm trying to figure out the most correct way to say Basement 4th floor. Should I just say Basement 4th floor? Best case scenario, when we see each other again, the curtain will have lifted, freeing the civilians, and we'll have figured out the objective of whoever's at Basement 5th floor. And then Yuji just says,
Don't worry, May. I'm done with losing. 9:03 p.m. Tokyo Metro. Meiji Jingumai Station, platform basement second floor. I feel like me saying basement second floor that way is a lot better than just saying B2F and stuff. Sounds a lot more succinct. And Yuji makes his way down, and he comes across a cursed spirit munching on someone. Munching on a human, just munching on the head of a human.
Ah, what are you looking at?
And then it shows the body of the man still twitching, nerve reflexes, even though his head is gone. And Yuji looks mad as the spirit goes,
You jujutsu sorcerer. You're a jujutsu sorcerer, right? I'm smart, you know.
And then Yuji just says, Patch Face is here, isn't he? Where is he?
Patch face?
He's got stitches on his face.
You think I'm stupid? I know that. I'm smart. Mahito is down below. I'm here to protect the curtain.
Mahito. I think Junpei also called him that. No, the name doesn't matter right now. And then it cuts to Gojo going, barrier techniques are pretty hard. Plenty of strong sorcerers can't cast them. But I can cast them. And then it cuts back to Yuji as he thinks, this thing cast a barrier? Both curtains? I don't know about that. And then Yuji looks at this giant bug cursed spirit and then notices something next to him.
I'm here to protect the curtain.
Not summon or cast. It said protect. In that case, that thing on the ground is suspicious. I gotta break it.
Mahito Jujutsu is no good. Did you know humans who've had their body shape change don't taste as good? I know the difference because I'm smart!
And as he says this, Yuji proceeds to kick the spirit into the opposite stairwell with extreme force. And then Yuji punches directly into it and breaks something on it, like he breaks an arm or he just punches into it excessively hard. And Yuji just says, you, every single one of you, stop looking down on humans.
You must not be smart, right? I bet you don't know what kind of curse I am. Did you know in this world, those who aren't smart die?
And then this bug cursed spirit creature opens its wings. And then Yuji just thinks, it's pretty obvious. You're a grasshopper curse, right? And then this shocks the grasshopper curse spirit because he thinks,
he's smart!
This grasshopper curse spirit is not very bright. It was so obvious. But that is the end of chapter 86, onwards to chapter 87, the Shibuya Incident, Part 5. And we get a little bit of narration about grasshoppers. Grasshopper plague, a disaster resulting from a population explosion of grasshoppers. The damage is not limited to farms, paper, clothes, anything is not limited to farms. Paper, clothes, anything plant-based is eaten. An adult grasshopper will eat its body weight in a single day. 1 ton of grasshoppers will eat 2,500 people's worth of food a day. The grotesque mastication sounds echo unrelentingly day and night. What remains is a wasteland. Black mucus excreted by the grasshoppers envelops the land, leaving behind a scene that is far from peaceful. Great, I'm getting reminded of the plot synopsis of Jurassic Park Dominion. Mankind, in response to this hellish insect, would fear, resent, and curse it. And it shows this creature trying to chomp on Yuji at high speeds, but Yuji keeps dodging. And it gives me the title again, Chapter 87, The Shibuya Incident, Part 5. I'm enjoying Jujutsu right now. I don't know what to do. It's so good. But as he's trying to chomp on Yuji, it's chomping straight through signs and all sorts of things, leaving bite marks and full LED signs hanging inside of the station. Crazy jumping and biting power. The fact that it can communicate means it's a more powerful curse. And it's dodging around Yuji, and it's trying to punch him, but Yuji just easily dodges and flips away. Its bite, its ability to use all 4 limbs independently. It wants to keep our fight confined to close combat. He's just running away. And then the spirit goes,
So, which are you?
it probably won't use any sneaky tactics. Which what?
Are you smart or not? I'm smart.
Smart people usually don't brag about being smart.
For real?
And this is the grasshopper spirit. Like I told you, this grasshopper spirit is not smart. And then they both try to launch it, and then Yuji launches at it, with narration going, "This is a numbers battle. 2 arms versus 4 arms." And they both start clashing with one another, with Yuji blocking a lot of moves and the grasshopper blocking a lot of moves. And then it shows Yuji trying to punch and landing multiple punches on the grasshopper and just barraging it with punches in his face consistently over and over and over and over and over again.
My arms, jaw, and eyes are all better than a human's. So why? Why am I the one getting hit?
And Yuji just basically breaks this bug down. And then it tries to spit at Yuji, but Yuji dodges and prepares to punch it.
But, as I thought, I'm smarter.
And then we get narration going, grasshoppers lay their eggs in the ground. Because of this, their abdomens expand and contract. The tip is hard and can stretch up to 3 times its normal length. And then it shows it using its thorax to try and jab at Yuji, but Yuji easily sees, and the grasshopper goes,
I win!
And thinks that to himself. But Yuji easily dodges, grabs it, and then proceeds to slice it off with his bare hands. So it does use sneaky tactics. However, and then it gets narration again. However, beyond that, there was a gap between the two when it came to raw skill that no sneaky tactic could overcome. And then Yuji just says, "You ate people. Any last words?" And then the grasshopper spirit, it just looks on with shocked eyes and is sweating all over. Then the next panel we see is the curtain item that caused the first curtain, to be snapped in half. Yuji just basically killed this grasshopper bug, with Ui going,
Sister?
"Yeah, the curtain's lifted. Let's wait for Itadori and head to basement 5th floor." And then it shows Mahito smiling. "So, Kogai was defeated, huh? Looks like we have a skilled sorcerer on our hands." 9:14 p.m. Tokyo Metro Meiji Jingumai Station, Fukotoshin Line, platform basement 5th floor. "Too bad. I wanted to fight too. Oh well, what are you gonna do? After all, it's work." And that's the end of chapter 87. Onwards to the last chapter for today, and I'm probably gonna get this done sooner than I did my One Punch Man read-through yesterday. Chapter 88, The Shibuya Incident, Part 6. We cut back to the fight between Satoru Gojo, Jogo, and Choso, with Jogo sweating, Gojo not moving, and then Choso hiding behind some civilians while steadily using his cursed blood technique. And then it shows Gojo going after Jogo, and Jogo is running, trying to shove people aside, and tries to blind spot Gojo by shoving civilians in his way in order to, hit at his blind spot, but Gojo easily swats him aside. And nothing works. So Jogo continues to weave in between civilians trying to run away from him, because Jogo knows he can't win against Gojo.
"Don't let Hanami's death be in vain. I'll blend in with the crowd and use hit-and-run tactics with amplification. Choso, I'll kill you myself if you're not even going to help."
And then Choso goes, yeah. And then uses his blood technique to shoot arrows at Gojo, which in the process goes straight through. Civilians are just basically collateral damage in this fight. Because you would think that they would just aim it specifically at Gojo, but no, they don't care who is in the line of fire. This might be the goriest part of Jujutsu Kaisen. If the anime shows all this stuff, this might be the most goriest part we've ever seen in Jujutsu thus far. But he sends blood arrows like arrow lines towards Gojo, and it goes through a person's skull just effortlessly. With Gojo thinking, and it doesn't even touch him thinking, with him thinking, you're not far from the action, but not too close. But you must be reaching your limit. The people who can't see the curses are starting to evade me. If their numbers keep dwindling and the space opens up, then I'll get a chance to spot Volcano Head. I won't be able to lure him out anymore by deactivating my technique. I already revealed my hand about destroying them up close, too. It'd be bad if he coordinated with the cursed womb and unleashed a special attack on the crowd. Sorry, I won't be able to save everyone. But I promise to exorcise them in return.
What's taking so long? It must have been 20 minutes now, by now.
And then it cuts to Geto by himself as he's going, it's still too easy for Satoru Gojo. We have to get him on edge more. And Geto's just in another part of the... He's in another part of the station just chilling by himself, laying up on the other cursed spirit that was traveling with Hanami and Jogo during their first interaction. The one that had like the little tendrils on its face, the little bug-looking thing. Don't know what that is, but it was there chilling with Geto. 9:15 p.m. Tokyo Metro Meiji Jingumai Station platform basement 4th floor. And it shows Mei, Ui, and Yuji heading there.
You're amazing, Itadori.
What?
To be honest, I thought you'd have a harder time. You're on par with a grade 1 sorcerer at this point. To be this good with without a curse technique, I think you're the only one since Kusakabe.
Something was stuck in my throat. I don't know what that was. But Yuji says, it wasn't Patchface. If it were him, it wouldn't have gone that easy. And then Yui is in the background looking stern-faced, going,
My sister just gave you a compliment. Accept it graciously.
Thanks, I appreciate it. Then it shows Yuji and the rest of them sliding downstairs as they both stop. And Mei says,
looks like we were too late.
And then Yuji says, hey, you! Are you okay? Where is everyone? And it shows a person just saying, everyone, monsters, on the train, and I... And then he starts getting transmogrified directly in front of Yuji going, train full, didn't want me! And his face just starts contorting and stretching out of itself, and he just falls over dead. And Yuji says, he was here. Darn it! Everyone on the train? Gojo-sensei! And then it cuts to Gojo, who's there in the subway as a train car comes careening in. And remember, there are people on the tracks. A train car just comes careening in as Jogo goes, it's here. And then a civilian says, the train, out of the way, let me on, move. What are we gonna do? Wait, move. And before he can even say that, he looks face to face into a train car that is full of transmogrified humans. And they all come pouring out, and the same guy that was shoving people aside trying to get to it, he gets grabbed by one, and it starts munching on his face. And then all the rest of the transfigured humans come pouring out of the subway car, and they start jumping on people. And then Gojo is left looking kind of surprised at all of this, as he says, what are they thinking? And then Mahito comes bouncing out as lively as ever going, Jogo!
Fresh air, full of fear. Maybe we should let a few humans survive. On the weekends, we'll let them loose in the forest and hunt them.
Can I burn the forest down?
Hanami would be upset.
Hanami's dead.
For real?
To be continued. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is the end of Volume 10. Yo, wow. They told me to be ready for the Shibuya incident, but I didn't think that civilians were going to be so caught up into this that they were just going to be dropping like flies as Gojo was trying to protect himself from Jogo, Hanami, and Choso. Speaking of which, Hanami's down. That same special grade curse that showed up during the Goodwill event, Gojo just basically crushed it with his own curse power. But now Mahito has come in to disrupt the fight between Jogo, Choso, and Gojo by causing even more mayhem with his train car full of transfigured humans that is now starting to munch on more civilians. How many volumes are published thus far? As of right now, the most recent one is volume 16, which I have sitting on my shelf. I have all of the volumes that are published right now. So, as of right now, the officially paperback ones go up to 16 at the moment. So I'm looking forward. I'm getting closer. I'm getting close. I'm catching up. I am catching up to Jujutsu. All I have is just 6 more volumes, and then I will have caught up completely with the volumes, and then I can start catching up with the singular chapters by themselves. So I'm really looking forward to that. But I was not prepared for when they were when the people at the stand, when they were letting me buy these books at Barnes & Noble, when they said I was not prepared for the Shibuya event. I was not prepared to see this amount of chaos and human casualties in one go. The last time I saw something like this was, like I said, in Invincible with Omni-Man versus Mark. That's the last time I saw something on this line of just people just casually getting swept up in between superhuman individuals fighting. That's the last time I recognized this, but this is getting good. Yes, it is. Oh boy, I can't wait for next Thursday. I am so glad I've decided to go full time because I get to look forward to all these streams I get to do for you. It's so amazing. I love it. But that's all I got for you guys, ladies and gentlemen. This concludes today's reading of Jujutsu Kaisen Volume 10. All I can say at the end of the day is, hope you all enjoyed. Can't wait to see you all in my next video. And if you're new to the channel and you enjoyed what you saw here today, then like, subscribe, and maybe even consider becoming a member because I am always looking forward to entertaining you. So have a fantastic day, and once again, as always, later, peoples. Oh, good lord. The Shibuya incident has begun.